The Art of the Start, by Guy Kawasaki. Introduction. Imagine for a moment, the year is 1983. Personal computers are clunky, beige boxes that speak in a language of green text on a black screen. They are tools for hobbyists and accountants, not for artists, writers, or dreamers. But inside a building in Cupertino, California, a small, rebellious team is working on something different. Something magical. They call it the Macintosh. They weren't just building a new computer. They were trying to change the world. They were starting a revolution. And at the heart of that revolution was a young evangelist named Guy Kawasaki. His job wasn't just to market a product, it was to convince the world to believe in a new way of thinking. He succeeded. And in the decades that followed, Guy Kawasaki became one of the most respected and battle-hardened guides for anyone, anywhere, who has that same itch, that same feeling that the world could be a better place, if only someone would start something. That's what this book, The Art of the Start, is all about. It's not just another business manual filled with corporate jargon and complex theories. It's a field guide. A straight-talking, no-nonsense mentor in book form, distilled from a lifetime of helping startups go from a flicker of an idea to a raging fire. It has become the go-to Bible for entrepreneurs, creators, and innovators for one simple reason: it works. So, what is the secret to starting something great? Is it a brilliant idea? A huge bank loan? An MBA from a fancy university? Guy would tell you it's none of those things. He would tell you that the art of the start begins with a single, profound question. And by the time we're done here, you will not only know that question, but you will have a complete roadmap to answer it. You will understand how to craft an idea that people will fall in love with, how to build a team that will fight alongside you, and how to create something that truly matters. This isn't just about starting a business. It's about starting anything. A nonprofit, a school, a club, a movement. It's about turning your desire to change the world from a dream into a reality. So, let's get started. Book summary. So, you have an idea. Maybe it's a whisper, maybe it's a roar. An idea for an app, a coffee shop, a charity to save the whales. It's exciting, and it's terrifying. And the first thing most people do is ask the wrong question. They ask, how can I make money? Guy Kawasaki would gently stop you right there. He'd look you in the eye and tell you that the greatest companies, the ones that change the world, never start with that question. They start with a much more powerful one. How can I make meaning? This is the absolute foundation of everything. Making meaning is about creating a product or service that makes the world a better place. It's about increasing the quality of life, righting a terrible wrong, or preventing the end of something good. Money, power, and prestige, those are just byproducts. The fuel, the thing that will get you through the long nights and the inevitable moments of doubt, is meaning. Think about it. When you're trying to build something from nothing, you'll face rejection. You'll work for little pay. You'll carry the weight of your team on your shoulders. If you're only doing it for the money, you'll burn out. But if you're doing it because you believe, with every fiber of your being, that the world will be a poorer place if your idea doesn't exist, well, that's a fire that's very hard to extinguish. So, how do you know if you're on the path to making meaning? Guy gives us a simple exercise. Complete this sentence: if my organization never existed, the world would be worse off because... If you have a powerful answer to that, you found your starting point. Now, once you have your meaning, the next step for most organizations is to create a mission statement. You know the ones. They're usually a long, boring paragraph full of corporate buzzwords like synergy, world-class, and mission-critical. They get framed and hung in the lobby, and absolutely no one remembers them. Guy says, forget the mission statement. It's a waste of time. Instead, you need a mantra. A mantra is different. A mantra is short, sweet, and powerful. It's a 3 or 4 word verbal formula that captures the very soul of what you do. It's not for your customers, it's for your employees. It's the guiding principle that helps them make decisions every single day. Let's look at a few examples. Nike's mantra isn't some long paragraph about shareholder value. It's authentic athletic performance. That's it. If you work at Nike, and you're designing a new shoe, you can ask yourself, does this help create authentic athletic performance? If the answer is no, you're on the wrong track. Disney's is fun family entertainment. Starbucks? Rewarding everyday moments. These mantras are easy to remember and, more importantly, easy to live by. They are the North Star for your entire team. While a tagline is for your customers, like Nike's "Just Do It," a mantra is for your people. It's the reason they show up to work. So now you have your meaning, and you have your mantra. What's next? Do you fire up your laptop and start writing a 200-page business plan? Do you create a 60-slide PowerPoint presentation? Wrong, wrong, wrong. The next step, and perhaps the most important one, is to get going. This is the essence of entrepreneurship. It's about doing, not planning to do. It's time to start building, creating, and delivering your product or service. Think soldering irons, hammers, and code compilers. The enemy of a great start is overthinking. The hardest thing about getting started is, well, getting started. You should always be selling, not strategizing about selling. Don't test and test and test. That's a game for big, slow companies with too much money. Your goal right now is to get a version of your product, even if it's not perfect, into the hands of real people. Good enough is good enough. As Guy says, it's not how great you start, it's how great you end up. While you're getting going, there are a few key principles to keep in mind. First, think big. Don't aim to be just a little bit better than what's out there. Aim to be 10 times better. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he didn't create a bookstore with a few more titles than the brick-and-mortar stores. He created one with millions of titles. He changed the game entirely. Second, find a few soulmates. The myth of the lone genius inventor is just that, a myth. History loves to tell the story of Steve Jobs creating the Macintosh or Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb, but the truth is, successful companies are always started by a team. You need at least one other person who shares your passion, someone whose skills complement your own. And third, polarize people. This might sound strange, but you don't want to create something that everyone thinks is just okay. You want to create something that some people absolutely love, even if it means other people hate it. Think about the design of cars like the Mini Cooper or the Toyota Scion XB. People are either devoted fans or relentless critics. That's a good thing. The only result that should truly scare you is a lack of interest. A shrug of the shoulders is the kiss of death. Your goal is to create passion, whether it's for or against you. As you're building your first prototype, a question naturally arises. How do you know what to build? There are a few different, and equally valid, design philosophies. The best, according to Guy, is the "I want one" approach. This is when the designer and the customer are the same person. You're building the product of your dreams because you can't find it anywhere else. Ferdinand Porsche famously said, "In the beginning I looked around and, not finding the automobile of my dreams, decided to build it myself." This is the purest form of market research. Another path is the "my employer wouldn't do it" approach. You see a huge opportunity at your current company, but they're too slow, too bureaucratic, or too focused on protecting their existing business to act on it. So, you leave and do it yourself. Then there's the "what the hell? It's possible" approach. This is for the true visionaries, the ones who create markets that don't even exist yet. When Motorola invented the cell phone, nobody was asking for one. A portable phone was an oxymoron. But they saw what was possible and brought the future to us. And finally, there's the must be a better way philosophy. This is the story of eBay. Pierre Omidyar wasn't a collector of Pez dispensers, as the popular myth goes. He was a brilliant programmer who wanted to create a perfect market, a more efficient and fair way for people to buy and sell goods. He simply saw a better way and decided to build it. Whichever path you take, the key is to use your prototype as your market research. Don't get stuck in focus groups and surveys trying to predict what people will want. Build your best shot, get it into the market, and then listen. Iterate quickly based on what real customers are telling you. Revise your product not to get people to love it, but because they already love it and want it to be even better. Alright, so you're making meaning, you have a mantra, and you've started building. Now it's time to think about the business model. This can be intimidating, but Guy Kawasaki boils it down to two beautifully simple questions. Who has your money in their pockets? And how are you going to get it into your pocket? That's it. The first question is about defining your customer and understanding their pain. The second is about creating a sales mechanism that ensures your revenues are greater than your costs. You can't change the world if you're out of business, and when you're out of money, you're out of business. When you're defining your business model, be specific. Don't be afraid of targeting a small niche. Most successful companies started by dominating a small market and then expanding. It's better to be a big fish in a small pond than a tiny fish in the ocean. Keep it simple. If you can't describe your business model in 10 words or less, you don't have one. eBay's model? We charge a listing fee plus a commission. End of story. Avoid jargon. And don't try to reinvent the wheel. Commerce has been around for thousands of years. It's very likely that a successful business model for what you're doing already exists. Copy it, and focus your innovation on your product or service. And Guy offers one last, slightly mischievous tip for testing your business model. Ask women. His theory is that men have a killer gene. We're wired to want to compete and destroy. This means almost any business model that involves crushing a competitor looks good to a man. Women, he argues, lack this gene and are therefore much better judges of whether a business model actually makes sense and provides real value. It's a humorous take, but there's a kernel of truth there. Seek out diverse perspectives from people who aren't blinded by the thrill of competition. The final step in this initial causation phase is to weave a MAT. MAT stands for milestones, assumptions, and tasks. This is the simple, practical alternative to a bloated business plan. It's a way to enforce discipline and keep your team on track when, as Guy says, all hell breaks loose, and all hell will break loose. First, your milestones. These are the 7 major goals that every startup must hit to survive. If you miss one, you might die. They are: 1. Prove your concept. 2. Complete your design specifications. 3. Finish a prototype. 4. Raise capital if you need it. 5. Ship a testable version to customers. 6. Ship the final version. 7. Achieve break-even. These milestones should be your focus. Forget the fancy mission statement in the lobby. Put these 7 milestones on the wall with your target dates for everyone to see. Next, your assumptions. This is a list of all the things you are assuming to be true about your business. Things like market size, gross margin, how long a sales cycle will take, and how much it will cost to acquire a customer. You need to write these down and then constantly test them against reality. When an assumption proves false, and many will, you need to react quickly. Finally, your tasks. This is the long list of everything else you need to do to build an organization: renting office space, finding vendors, setting up payroll, filing legal documents. The point is not to get bogged down in these, but to appreciate the full scope of what you're undertaking so nothing slips through the cracks. With your mat in hand, you have a real, living guide for your journey. Now, let's shift gears for a moment. What if you're not in a garage? What if you're an aspiring entrepreneur working inside a big company? This is what's called internal entrepreneuring, or being an entrepreneur. You might think it's easier. You have resources, a big brand, and a steady paycheck. Guess again. The challenges are just different. Guy was part of one of the most successful internal startups in history, the Macintosh division at Apple. He says its success came down to two words: Steve Jobs. Jobs had the vision, the power, and the reality-distorting personality to protect the project from the bureaucracy of the main company. But you don't have to be Steve Jobs to succeed. You just have to play by a different set of rules. First, put the company first. Your motivation must be to help the company, not to build your own little empire. If people see you're doing it for the greater good, they will support you. Second, be prepared to kill the cash cows. Often, your new product will threaten an existing, profitable product. The Macintosh killed the Apple II, which was the company's main source of revenue. But it's better that you kill your own cash cow than let a competitor do it. Third, stay under the radar. Unlike a startup that needs all the attention it can get, an internal project should stay quiet. The higher you go in a company, the more people you'll find who want to maintain the status quo. Stay hidden until your project is too far along to be killed. A great way to do this is to get a separate building, close enough to get resources, but far enough to discourage casual visits from the corporate pukes, as Guy affectionately calls them. Next, find a godfather. This is a senior, respected figure in the company who is safe from petty politics. They can provide advice, protection, and air cover when you need it. And finally, you have to reboot your brain. The rules for success in a big company are often the opposite of what's needed for a startup. Big companies want to be all things to all people. Startups need to find a niche and dominate it. Big companies write 200-page business plans. Startups need a 20-page plan based on a killer 10-slide pitch. Big companies stay in the Ritz-Carlton. Startups stay with a college buddy to save money. You have to unlearn what you know to innovate. Now, whether you're in a garage or a cubicle, once your idea starts to take shape, you need to master the art of positioning. Positioning is simply the answer to the question, what do you do? It sounds easy, but most companies get it wrong. They describe themselves in vague, egocentric terms like we are the leading provider of world-class solutions. This means nothing. Good positioning is positive, customer-centric, and empowering. It's not about destroying your competition, it's about what you do for your customers. It should be self-explanatory and specific. And it should be rooted in the core strengths of your organization. A great way to test your positioning is what Guy calls the opposite test. If you describe your product as high quality, robust, and easy to use, ask yourself, would any of your competitors describe their product as low quality, fragile, and hard to use? Of course not. So you're not saying anything different. You're just making noise. Instead of using meaningless adjectives, provide concrete proof points. Don't say your product is fast. Say, real-world tests show a 5-fold improvement in throughput. Let people deduce the qualities for themselves. And when you communicate your positioning, speak English. Cut the acronyms and the technical jargon. One of Guy's clients pitched their company as, utilizing the 2048-bit Diffie-Hellman key exchange and 168-bit triple DES, we provide intrusion protection. After some work, they changed it to, we safeguard your communications. Much better. If your receptionist can't explain what your organization does in one sentence, your positioning isn't working. Once you know what you do, you need to be able to tell people about it. For an entrepreneur, the phrase isn't "I think, therefore I am." It's "I pitch, therefore I am." You are always pitching? To investors, to customers, to potential partners, to new employees. Guy has listened to thousands of pitches in his career, and he says most of them are terrible. So he came up with a simple, powerful rule to fix them: the October 20th, 2030 rule. A pitch should have 10 slides. It should last no more than 20 minutes. And it should use a 30-point font. Let's break that down. 10 slides. That's it. This forces you to focus on the absolute essentials. The purpose of a pitch is not to close a deal, it's to stimulate interest and get to the next step. Your 10 slides should cover the problem you're solving, your solution, your business model, the underlying magic or technology, your marketing and sales plan, the competition, your team, your financial projections, and your current status. 20 minutes. You're usually booked for an hour, but you should never talk for the whole hour. The most valuable part of any meeting is the discussion. A great pitch is a conversation, not a monologue. Present for 20 minutes, and leave 40 minutes for questions and answers. And 30-point font. This is a brilliant piece of practical advice. First, it makes your slides readable, especially for older investors whose eyesight might not be what it used to be. But more importantly, it prevents you from putting too much text on a single slide. If you're using a 30-point font, you can't cram paragraphs of text up there. You're forced to distill your points and use the slides to lead your presentation, not to be a teleprompter that you read from. Remember, people can read faster than you can talk. If your slides are dense, your audience will be reading ahead of you, not listening to you. When you're pitching, you must answer the audience's first, unspoken question within the first minute. What does your organization do? Don't start with your life story. Don't build up to a dramatic reveal. Just tell them. We sell software. We are a school. We protect the environment. Once they have that anchor, they can relax and listen to the rest of your story. And for every claim you make, imagine a little man sitting on your shoulder whispering, "So what?" You say, "We use digital signal processing in our hearing aids." The little man asks, "So what?" You reply, "Our product increases the clarity of sounds." And then you add the two most powerful words in a pitch. For instance, if you're at a noisy party, you'll be able to clearly hear what the person you're talking to is saying. That combination, answering "so what?" and giving a concrete example, is unstoppable. Let's say your pitch works. You've stimulated interest, and now people are asking for a business plan. This is where many entrepreneurs make a mistake. They think the business plan is the main event and the pitch is just a summary of it. It's the other way around. A good business plan is a detailed version of a great pitch. So, pitch first. Try it out on mentors, colleagues, anyone who will listen. Refine it based on their feedback. Get the story right. Once your 10-slide pitch is solid, then you can start writing the plan. And when you do, focus 80% of your effort on the executive summary. It's the most important part of the document, because if it doesn't grab the reader, they will never get to page 3. It should be a concise, clear description of the problem, your solution, your business model, and your underlying magic. Keep the whole plan under 20 pages. Bind it with a staple, not a fancy leather cover. And understand the dirty little secret of business plans for startups. You should write it in a deliberate style, as if you know exactly what the future holds. But you should be thinking and acting in an emergent style, ready to react and adapt to reality. The plan is a snapshot in time. Your ability to pivot is what will determine your success. Now, let's talk about the lifeblood of any new venture: money. Or, more accurately, the lack of it. This brings us to the art of bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is about surviving the early days when you have little to no capital. It's about being scrappy, resourceful, and relentlessly focused. Bill Reichert, one of Guy's partners at Garage Technology Ventures, likes to say that the odds of a startup raising venture capital are about the same as getting struck by lightning while standing at the bottom of a swimming pool on a sunny day. So you have to learn to survive on your own. The key to bootstrapping is to manage for cash flow, not for profitability. Paper profits don't matter if you can't pay your rent. This means you need a business model with short sales cycles and quick payment terms. You need to get cash in the door as fast as possible, and you need to stretch out your payments to vendors as long as possible. This also means you need to build a bottom-up forecast, not a top-down one. A top-down forecast is what Guy calls the Chinese soda lie. It goes something like this: there are 1.3 billion people in China. If we can just get 1% of them to buy our soda, we'll be rich. This is fantasy. A bottom-up forecast starts with reality. We have 5 salespeople. Each salesperson can make 10 calls a day. 5% of those calls will convert into a sale within 6 months. Each sale is worth $240. This gives you a much more realistic and often sobering picture of your potential revenue. Bootstrapping also means you ship, then test. Get your product to market immediately, even if it's imperfect. The cash flow and real-world feedback are more valuable than waiting for perfection. The first Macintosh in 1984 didn't have a hard disk, it didn't have color, and it had almost no software. But it was a revolutionary leap forward, and it got into the market. And when it comes to your team, forget about hiring the proven industry veterans with big salaries and even bigger egos. Focus on young, hungry, and talented people who are willing to work for equity and who believe in your meaning. Experience can be overrated. As Guy says, sometimes ignorance is empowering. If you don't know that something is impossible, you're more likely to go out and do it. A classic bootstrapping technique, especially for software companies, is to start as a service business. Instead of trying to build a perfect product in a vacuum, start by doing consulting work for clients. Use their problems to guide your product development, and use their consulting fees to fund it. Once the product is ready, you can transition from a service company to a product company. And in everything you spend money on, focus on function, not form. Do you need an accountant? Yes. Does it need to be a big-name firm with walnut-paneled conference rooms? No. Do you need chairs for your office? Yes. Do they need to be $700 Herman Miller Aron chairs, the symbol of the dot-com bubble? Absolutely not. The function of a chair is to support your butt. A cheap one does that just as well. This bootstrap mentality is a stage, not a permanent lifestyle. But it's the crucible that forges great companies. Apple, Dell, Microsoft, eBay, they all started this way. As your bootstrapped venture starts to gain traction, you'll need to grow your team. This brings us to the art of recruiting. Steve Jobs had a saying, "A players hire A players, B players hire C players." It's a trickle-down effect that can lead to what Guy calls a bozo explosion. The single most important job of a CEO is to hire a management team that is better than she is. And the most important job of that team is to hire employees who are better than they are. This requires humility and self-confidence. When you're looking for these A players, don't get hung up on superficialities like where they went to school or what big companies they worked for. Success in a big, established company doesn't guarantee success in a chaotic startup environment. The skills are completely different. Instead, focus on 3 things. 1. Can the candidate do what you need? 2. Do they believe in the meaning you're trying to make? You want to hire people who are already infected with enthusiasm for your cause. It's much easier to teach an infected person the skills they need than it is to infect a skilled person with belief. Your best source for recruits is often your own customer base. And 3. Hire for major strengths, not for the lack of major weaknesses. People without major weaknesses tend to be mediocre. High achievers, the people who change the world, often have big flaws. Steve Jobs wasn't known for his compassion. Bill Gates isn't a design guru. You're building a team, and the goal is to assemble a group of people with diverse, complementary strengths that cover for each other's weaknesses. And once you've hired someone, the recruiting doesn't stop. You have to re-recruit your employees every single day, making sure they are inspired, challenged, and happy to be part of the journey. Now, let's say your bootstrapping is working, your team is growing, but to get to the next level, you need a significant injection of cash. It's time to face the lightning-filled swimming pool and raise capital. The most important thing to understand is that investors don't fund business plans, they fund businesses. The single best way to get an investment is to show traction. Traction is proof that you're building something that people want. For most businesses, traction means sales. It means people are willing to open their wallets and give you their money. If you can show that, the rest, your team, your technology, becomes much more believable. When you do approach investors, don't just send a cold email. You need to get an introduction from a trusted source, a lawyer, an accountant, another entrepreneur they've funded, or a professor. This tilts the playing field in your favor and ensures they'll at least take a serious look. And be prepared for the lies and trick questions. Guy has a hilarious and painfully accurate list of the top 10 lies entrepreneurs tell investors. Number 1. Our projection is conservative. No, it's not. You're picking a number out of the air that you think is high enough to be interesting but low enough not to sound crazy. Investors know this. Number 3. Boeing is signing our contract next week. Contracts are never signed on time. Talk about big deals after they're done. Investors also have trick questions to test you. Do you see yourself as the long-term CEO? The wrong answer is a simple yes. The right answer is, I've been focused on getting our product to market. I'll do whatever is necessary to make this company successful, including stepping aside if needed. This shows maturity and a focus on the company's success, not your own ego. Raising money is a dating process. It's long, it's difficult, and you'll get a lot of rejections. The key is persistence, but persistence with proof. Every time you follow up, you need to have good news, a new customer, a new milestone hit. Otherwise, you go from being persistent to being a pest. Once you have partners and investors, the art of branding becomes crucial. But branding isn't about Super Bowl ads and expensive PR firms. For a startup, branding is evangelism. It's the process of converting people to your belief, doctrine, or cause. It starts with having a great, contagious product. Something that is cool, effective, distinctive, disruptive, and emotive. Something that makes people joyful when they use it. Then, you have to lower the barriers to adoption. Make it easy for people to try your product. Flatten the learning curve. Write a great manual. Enable test drives. Give people a safe, easy first step. Then, you need to recruit evangelists. These are your most passionate customers, the ones who believe in your product as much as you do. Ask them for help. Give them the tools to spread the word. Listen to them. And, most importantly, foster a community around your product. Companies like Apple, Harley-Davidson, and Saturn have powerful communities that provide technical support, social connection, and an army of volunteer salespeople. Per dollar, building a community is the cheapest and most effective way to create a lasting brand. Finally, we come to the end of the journey, but it's really the beginning. The ultimate art is the art of being a mensch. Mensch is a Yiddish word for a person who is ethical, decent, and admirable. It's the highest form of praise. For Guy Kawasaki, being a mensch isn't just a nice thing to do, it's a strategic imperative for building a great, lasting organization. There are 3 pillars of menschhood. First, help many people. The real test of a mensch is helping people who can do absolutely nothing for you in return. It's about deriving intrinsic joy from helping your fellow human beings, without any expectation of a reward. Second, do what's right. Not what's easy, not what's expedient, not what saves you money. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. It means observing the spirit of an agreement, not just the letter. It means being honest even when it costs you. It means understanding that there are things more important than winning. And third, pay back society. A mensch feels a deep sense of gratitude for the gifts they've received in life, family, health, success, and feels an obligation to give back. This doesn't just mean giving money. It means giving your time, your expertise, and your emotional support. In the end, starting something isn't just a series of tactical steps. It's an act of creation that reflects who you are. The meaning you make, the team you build, and the brand you create are all extensions of your values. If you want to build something great, you must first strive to be something great. Commentary. As we step back and look at The Art of the Start, it becomes clear why this book has stood the test of time. It was first published in 2004, an eternity ago in the world of technology and business. And yet, its lessons feel more relevant today than ever before. That's because Guy Kawasaki didn't write a book about fleeting business trends. He wrote a book about timeless human principles. It's not about how to game the latest social media algorithm or how to write the perfect pitch for a cryptocurrency startup. It's about the fundamental, unchanging truths of bringing an idea to life. The most powerful lesson, for me, is the relentless focus on making meaning. In a world that often seems obsessed with quick profits, overnight success, and personal branding, Kawasaki's message is a powerful antidote. He reminds us that the most successful and enduring ventures are built on a foundation of purpose. They are born from a genuine desire to solve a problem, to create beauty, to make people's lives better. This isn't a soft, feel-good sentiment. It's a profound strategic advantage. Meaning is the ultimate motivator. It's what attracts the best talent, what creates passionate customers, and what gives you the resilience to weather the inevitable storms. Another beautiful aspect of this book is its humanity and humility. It's written by someone who has been in the trenches, who has seen incredible success and has made his share of mistakes. There's no arrogance here, just practical, honest advice delivered with humor and warmth. He strips away the mystique of entrepreneurship and makes it accessible. He tells you that an entrepreneur isn't some special breed of human, it's a state of mind. It's for the guys and gals in garages, the brave souls in established companies, and the saints starting schools, churches, and not-for-profits. It's for anyone who wants to alter the future. So, how can you start applying these ideas to your own life, right now? Here are 3 simple actions you can take today. First, find your meaning. Take out a piece of paper and actually write down the answer to that critical question. If my dream project or organization didn't exist, how would the world be a little bit worse off? Don't censor yourself. Be bold. This is your why. Second, craft your mantra. Based on that meaning, distill it into 3 or 4 powerful words. What is the guiding principle of your idea? This isn't for a business card, it's for you. It's the phrase you can repeat to yourself when you feel lost or discouraged. And third, just get going. What is the smallest possible version of your idea that you can create and share with someone today? Don't wait for the perfect plan or for all the answers. Build a simple prototype. Offer your service to one person for free. The momentum you create from that first small step is more powerful than 100 pages of planning. That was a deep dive into the core ideas of The Art of the Start by Guy Kawasaki. We've explored the journey from making meaning to becoming a mensch, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at vacation photos of the Grand Canyon. It gives you an idea of the majesty, but it can never replace the feeling of standing on the edge and seeing it for yourself. The real magic of this book is in Guy's stories, his humor, and the way his practical wisdom seeps into you as you read. This summary is designed to help you decide if this journey is for you. If anything we've talked about today has sparked a fire in you, if it's made you lean in and think, yes, that's what I want to do, then please, grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning, it's an experience that can genuinely give you the courage and the tools to start something that matters. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this summary valuable, and if you believe in the power of great ideas, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small click for you, but it makes a huge difference for us, and it ensures you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.